Hello and welcome to the 15th, holy crap, we're at 15, the 15th episode of Total Drama Multiverse. This video, if you didn't read the title, is the last video before the merge. And because of that, we get a little crazy, so yeah, let's just get into it. We'll start with the pre-challenge section, where let's just go with the team who has the least going on. The Crooked Crocs, these two are getting closer, and they've decided to actually make it official. So now Monica and Izuku are officially dating, which is a very weird ship, but they are. So, congrats, I guess. And then Dipper and Fritz are still just vibing. Yeah, they shared like a kiss, and they shared a kiss. It was a whole romantic moment, yada yada. But I'm sure nobody really wants to hear about that because I know I don't. So, not too much else going on that team. Ashley and Peter are kind of just avoiding each other and sitting away from each other. But Luz has sat down with Ezekiel, Toph, and Marcy, and has been like, she's freaking out, and she comes up and tells them she did magic. And of course, at first, none of the three of them believe her, but she's like, watch this. And she draws a symbol on a piece of paper and then hits it, and then a blaze of fire comes out. And they're all, well, Toph doesn't see anything, but Ezekiel and Marcy are like, wow, that's actually awesome. And they're like, Ezekiel's like, how'd you do that? And then she's like, I don't really know what happened. I was doing a tiebreaker challenge versus Tails last night, and I almost lost when suddenly I saw this symbol in the fire. So and I don't know what my body was telling me to do, but I hit it, and then fire came all over the place. But it didn't burn her, or it didn't burn me. It just made me win the challenge. And now she keeps showing the symbol, and every time she hits it, it'll cause fire to go everywhere. She said it's like some weird glyph thing. So Marcy and Ezekiel are like, I want to try. Toph's like, I have earthbending. I can't see. I can't draw on a piece of paper. So she doesn't even know what the symbol looks like. But she's like, cool for you, I guess. So Toph doesn't try. Ezekiel is kind of stupid and not good at anything, so he can't get the symbol right. But Marcy actually gets the glyph right, hits it, and it works for her too. So Luz and Marcy both officially know the fire glyph. And Ezekiel's trying. You'll say he tries to do one, but it's like all wonky, and then he hits it and it blows up in his face. So yeah, they're having a lot of fun. Speaking of having a lot of fun, In and Scary Girl are just doing what they do best and pulling pranks on each other, and on everyone else in camp. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the pre-challenge section, but we have a very good challenge section today, so let's get to that. Alright, so our challenge today is Challenge 11, the Tower of Terror. 3 identical towers with 5 floors are sat right next to each other. Don't ask how Chris built those. He has some crazy interns. Each team must work together to get to the top while avoiding all obstacles. The last team to make it will be sent to elimination, where there will be a special surprise for them. So there is 5 floors, like I said. And the first floor is a bunch of spike traps that they have to avoid. Sorry for my hiccups, by the way. Floor 2 has poison darts that they have to avoid. Floor 3 has a horde of Minecraft zombies that they have to defeat. Minecraft zombies I chose in particular because those ones don't actually infect you, they just hurt you. And also I feel like these 3 teams would all be able to kill them before the zombies killed them. So I don't think anybody would die from that. And also we'll say the poison darts just like knock you out, and the spike traps, yeah, they stab you, but you'll be fine. It's just a flesh wound. Well, anyways, floor 4 is a extremely difficult puzzle that they have to solve to get to floor 5, which has a mystery, which is specific to each team. And he said that some of you might recognize the mystery, but we will get there when we get there. So yeah. Well, everybody goes in, and nobody's sitting out, by the way, because trust me, everyone's going to need the help they get. Chris tried to make it to where the final floor would make it to where the amount of people there didn't matter. So it's harder for the Warped Weasels to complete the final floor than it is for the Rifted Ravens, too. So yeah, we'll start with floor 1. I think immediately coming in, I think it'll be pretty obvious, because they don't actually know what's on each floor, by the way. Only y'all do, except for floor 5. Only I know that, but whatever. Anyways, they come in, and it's like pitch black. There's no lights. So while the Warped Weasels and the Crooked Crocs can't see a thing, or I'm sorry, the Crooked Crocs can't see a thing, my bad. Luz and Marcy both do fire glyphs in their respective teams, and they light up the place. And everybody's like, what the hell? How'd you do that? And they're both like, neither of them explain it, because they want it to be, everyone wants it to be a secret between these 4. So, yeah, but Toph, she can feel, Toph does her, like, echolocation thing, and she was able to feel an entire library underground once. So she pretty much says to the team that there is traps on these 2 levels. She can feel a bunch of scattering feet on the 3rd level. She doesn't really feel anything on the 4th level, and there's a really dark presence on the 5th level. And everyone's like, okay, but she says she can feel the trap, so she lets Marcy light the way, and then just tells everyone to follow her, single file. And they all, because she can feel them, so she's not gonna walk into them. And they all make it past floor 1 pretty quickly. So these guys are currently in the lead. Then the Rifted, I think the next team to make it through their group would be the Rifted Ravens, because Luz has sight. But the people that are really going to struggle with this are the Crooked Crocs, because none of these people have any extraterrestrial powers except for Monica being able to glitch herself, but that's not really helpful, because even if she glitches herself to the top of the tower, it doesn't matter, because the other 3 need to get there. So I'd say Spike probably like pierces through Zuko's foot, and they have to, like, it's not like too bad. It's not like gonna freaking break his foot for the next 5 episodes, but it hurts like hell. Anyways, so Monica ends up carrying Izuku. Yeah. And then Dipper is like, okay, well, Fritz, you're made out of a robot. You can't really feel anything, so just keep walking forward. So eventually Fritz makes it through, but his legs are cooked. And everyone just, after the spikes have already gone off, just walks around them. So they eventually make it, but not before somebody's already been knocked out on the Warped Weasels. Freaking Marcy accidentally triggers a poison dart trap and gets shot in the neck, and it's like a sleeping dart, and she falls asleep. And freaking N can see with his eyes that she's still alive. So he's like, yeah, she's still alive. We'll just have to bring her, and they have to piggyback her. N has to piggyback her, which Scary Girl's jealous of, because she does that whenever he's flying. No, they're not in love. Remember, they're just friends, because N already has a girlfriend. Anyways, but they eventually, like, N scans the area and can see the trap, so they'll eventually make it through, but Marcy's already been hit, and because of that whole whoa, I did not mean to say that word, y'all, I'm sorry. Because of that whole ordeal, there we go, the Rifted Ravens were able to pull ahead, because Peter just saw all the holes because of the fire glyph that Luz had, and was able to just web them all up. So yeah, the Rifted Ravens have pulled ahead, and the Crooked Crocs, the same thing happens, but the shell is really deteriorating for Fritz. So he's like, I'm not doing that again anymore. Anyways, They make it the first people to make it to floor 3 are the Rifted Ravens, and the second they walk in, they see a blocky-looking green person, and Ashley's like, "Hello, are you there? Who's there?" And then Luz's fire glyph dies out, and then she makes a new one, and then whenever it lights up, there's like 50 of them, and Peter's the only one that can really do anything, but they're pretty weak, so I think it takes them a while. I think Luz starts to get the hand of combat with her glyphs. She starts burning them. Ashley's just strong enough to snap a few necks, and Spider-Man, or Peter goes full Spider-Man mode and is able to destroy quite a few of them. So I think they're still in the lead for this. But I think the next team to get through is pretty obviously the Warped Weasels, because they come up behind, or they come up around the same time as Luz, Ashley, and Peter are finishing. Because of that, they are pretty quickly done, just because like they have Toph and Scary Girl and In, which are 3 extremely powerful people. So they leave Ezekiel to care for Marcy. And Ezekiel's like, okay. So Ezekiel just protects Marcy's sleeping body, and while Toph and Scary Girl pretty easily kill everything. So they're Rifted Ravens and Warped Weasels are pretty much neck and neck. But the Crooked Crocs are pretty far behind, because when they get in there and they don't see all the zombies, Foxy just Fritz starts slashing his hook around everywhere. Freaking Dipper is like useless. And as Dipper's about to get trampled by a bunch of them, Izuku comes in and punches the crap out of him because he's strong now. He doesn't have any powers, but he is a lot stronger physically now. So, yeah, him and Monica both, like, Monica, like, glitches her arm into a freaking sphere. Or not sphere, spike. Where did I get sphere? Spike, and starts like stabbing people. So eventually the 3 of them are able to do it, and Dipper's like, I'm glad Izuku stood up, or Deku or whoever stood up for me, but it still makes them feel really weak that freaking Izuku of all people would stand up for him. So we're going into the 4th floor. It is a extremely difficult puzzle, and this is where the Crooked Crocs go from last all the way to absolutely logging in and going first. Dipper is a very smart person, Izuku's pretty smart, and Monica and Fritz aren't that dumb. So when they see the extremely difficult puzzle, they are able to complete it a lot quicker than the others. And this room has a light, by the way, because it's a puzzle, so they need to see the puzzle, or else it would just be unfair. So this room does have a light. But yeah, the reason why they still pull ahead, like, it makes sense that they pull ahead of these 3, because Ashley, she's not that bright. I mean, she's not stupid, but she's not that smart. Peter, yeah, he's smart, and Luz is a nerd, but I feel like they'd still pull ahead. I think Izuku and Dipper are smarter than at least Luz, maybe not Peter. But the Warped Weasels are kind of just getting cooked. So the Rifted Ravens already pull ahead and go into the mysterious 5th floor as well. But basically, they're just trying to wake up Marcy, because In is an idiot, Scary Girl's an idiot, or I'm sorry, I've been calling her Scary Girl. I'm trying to call them by their normal name. So Lauren's an idiot, Toph is blind, and Ezekiel's an idiot. So basically they have no idea what they're doing, and they fall a lot behind. But Marcy eventually is able to wake up, and she solves it extremely quickly, because she's probably the smartest person on the island, outside of maybe Peter. So they all enter the 5th room, but that's when it's revealed that when Chris said that some people might recognize the 5th floor's challenge, it's because each of the floors has a different villain, which means the Crooked Crocs got stuck with William Afton, the Rifted Ravens got stuck with Venom, and extremely unfairly, but Chris didn't know, the Warped Weasels get stuck with Sin. So, they have to defeat them. And it's specified these are alternate reality versions of these characters, so they can kill them, and it doesn't really matter. Even though it kind of still does, but but trust me, some of these people want to kill him. So pretty quickly, the Crooked Crocs are able to take down William Afton and win immunity. This is because between Monica being able to hack into robots, Azuku being pretty strong, Dipper existing, and Fritz being fueled by so much hatred and anger, I think this dude was gonna wish he got spring locked again instead. I think Fritz will. I think what'll happen is Monica will probably cause him to like lock up, and then Izuku will beat him up a bit. But I think Fritz will go pretty far in destroying William. I think when they first enter the room, they'll hear laughing, and then Fritz will like start having like a panic attack. The lights are off in this room, by the way, but the villain turns them on after. Then you hear Afton start mocking him, and he's like, "Oh, look at you! Look at what I've made you become," and it's a whole fight. But I think, yeah, he kind of gets his ass kicked. So, sorry, Afton, you're kind of just dead, and the Crooked Crocs win immunity. Now, as for the reason I chose Venom instead of any of the other Spider-Man villains, one, he's really popular. Two, Luz is just learned fire. And what are symbiotes afraid of? Fire. So, yeah. Ashley's not really too big of a help. She's kind of just the damsel in distress here. But Peter and Luz work together and actually work really well together and take down Venom. But it takes a lot longer, so they also win immunity. Now, you might be wondering, why even mention Sin? Because the Warp Weasels have already lost. Well, it's because Chris massively, and I mean as massive as the low taper fade meme, I'm sorry I had to, he freaking misunderstood how powerful Sin is. And how she wants to kill all humans, along with In, because she hates In. So, In, who's already dealt with Sin before at this point, hears Sin, and then the lights turn on, and sees Sin, and he starts freaking out. And everybody does. Sin immediately uses one of her black hole things with the Absolute Solver, to destroy the entire tower. And by this point, the Rifted Ravens and the Crooked Crocs have already won because of how long it took for the fourth floor. They've already won, so they were just waiting, and they see the tower crumble, and they see Sin at the top. And then Sin brings up In and is actually about to kill In first, when Peter, not wanting for somebody to die, freaking comes in and kicks the crap out of Sin, and then that distracts her long enough for In to escape. And long story short, this shit turns into everybody doing whatever they can to kill Sin, or at least get Sin away, because Sin is so ridiculously more powerful than everybody here at this stage of where they are. Because I mean, like, Deku could definitely kill Sin in his current state, but she'd probably end up realistically killing somebody, but let's just say she kills an intern or two instead, because I don't want to kill any of these people. There's going to be more seasons. If there wasn't, maybe I would kill somebody. But anyways, it eventually ends with it eventually ends with everybody on the ground defeated, and she's laughing like crazy, and she walks up to In, and Scary Girl runs in front to defend In, but she just gets freaking punted like freaking 100 yards away by Sin, and she comes up and she's about to kill In when suddenly a rift spawns behind her, and Agent Peely, along with Hope and Jones, all rush out of the portal. They all tackle Sin, and obviously Sin's more powerful than them, but they have a freaking like robot tranquilizer thing that like will paralyze all robots. It's extremely powerful, but and it freaking reboots Sin, and while she's rebooting, the three of them throw her in a rift, and then they look at Chris, and Chris is just like, my bad, and they're like, yeah, you really are pushing it, man, and then they leave, and then they end up sending Sin back to her own reality. So yeah, fun times. Well, everyone kind of catches their bearings, and and everyone's like, "What the fuck, dude?" to Chris, and he's like, "I didn't know. I'm sorry." But since the warped weasels did not kill Sin, they still technically lost and will be sent to elimination. And they're like, "Oh, come on." So yeah, that's that. That's the challenge section. A little bit of a wild one. Well, in the post challenge, not too much gameplay wise happens because everyone's just recovering. The whole island's in ruin. And they're just all healing. And Peely ends up coming back, and basically he gives a very stern talking to Chris, and then he comes back with a bunch of 1-up mushrooms that he found in a Mario universe, and he gives them to all the contestants, and they all heal up pretty quickly, because like some of these people were actually on the verge of death. So like especially the weaker ones like Dipper or Ezekiel, who can't actually do anything. So yeah, they're all good now. But this does lead to elimination. And at the elimination ceremony, the surprise from earlier is announced. And he's like, as for y'all being the losers, y'all get the big surprise. And they're like, ooh, yay, what's the surprise? And he's like, this episode is actually a double elimination. And they're like, what? they aren't having the best day. They really aren't having a good day right now. So yeah, he's announced that the 2 people with the highest amount of votes will be leaving the place. Or will be leaving the island, or well, at least they'll be deciding if they want a chance to come back in the merge. Oh my goodness. So everyone starts panicking because I think it's pretty obvious at this point that Ezekiel, Toph, and Marcy are teamed up, and and Scary Girl are teamed up. So because their day hasn't gotten bad enough already, is like, great, now either I or Scary Girl am gonna leave. And Ezekiel, Toph, and Marcy are panicking because they have no control over which of the 3 get out. And until Marcy secretly comes up to In and Scary Girl and is like, guys, I will vote with y'all if y'all don't vote me out. And but y'all can't tell anyone. And they're like, why does it even matter? And it's like, just please, I just don't want to leave. And they're like, ugh, whatever. So they tell her who to vote, and she actually does, but she's not going to tell anybody. But she doesn't mind getting the person out anyway. Meanwhile, Ezekiel and Toph, presuming that Marcy's still going to vote with them, but it doesn't even really matter if she does, are like, okay, well, we were originally going to get out In because he's a huge challenge threat, but they've actually decided to switch their vote to Scary Girl because In's had a bad enough day already, so they want to give him a little bit of grace. So yeah, the votes are read, and the first 2 votes are for Scary Girl, and Scary Girl is eliminated, and Scary Girl is super mad. She's also super sad. She doesn't want to leave In is just distraught, even though he actually says that he would have rather have gone home than have Lauren just get taken away and lose her chance. She deserves it more. She deserves her stuff, or her wish, more than In deserves his. So he's pissed off. But Toph and Ezekiel are confused because why was when Chris said with the first 2 votes being Scary Girl, she's eliminated, why was it only 2 votes and not 3? And Marcy's just like, shit, why did Chris say that shit? And then she says, with 3 votes, Ezekiel is eliminated. Sorry, buddy. Yup, Ezekiel's eliminated, and Toph and Ezekiel, but Toph especially is not happy. She's like, I knew we never should have let you in the alliance. You're a freaking nerd. You're useless. Toph goes off on Marcy, and Marcy's like, I'm sorry. And yeah, that's gonna be our double elimination. Well, y'all, I thought that it would. Oh, also, before I go into that fourth wall break, I should say that both Ezekiel and Scary Girl do decide to stay for the comebacks because they're both actually from this universe and have nobody to go home to and nothing better to do. So they both decide, yeah, we'll try to get back in the game. Ezekiel wants to get revenge on Marcy, and Scary Girl just wants to be with N. So yeah. Anyways, fourth wall break time, I decided to get out Ezekiel and Lauren, or Scary Girl, or whatever you want to call her, because this series is called Total Drama Multiverse, and I really tried to lean into the multiverse part this episode, and in the more lore-driven episodes, but I feel like since it's Total Drama Multiverse, the merge shouldn't consist of 2 total drama characters. So I decided, let's take both of them out. Don't worry, they could be back in the next episode when the comeback happens, or they could be back in a later season. But yeah, I just felt like that'd be the best thing to do. This is also the reason that I tried to remind everyone to think of 1 male and 1 female contestant they are rooting for, because I wanted to be a little evil. I feel like most of y'all are probably mainly Total Drama fans, so y'all probably went, oh, 1 male, Ezekiel, 1 female, Scary Girl, Lauren. Obviously. So now they're both out. So now if those were your 2, you better start thinking of a new one. But yeah, I will catch y'all in the next episode of Total Drama Multiverse, and